YouTube doomed? And what does that mean for your social media strategy if it is? Today, let's talk about some interesting facts regarding the platform and the implication that those facts may have for your social media strategy and your business. Now, do I think YouTube is doomed? I'm actually not in that camp. But if you've been listening to the analysts and the experts and the bloggers and the vloggers for the last 8 years, you probably would have been led to believe that the platform was eventually going to die. It's a death that's been being predicted for several years that just won't seem to happen. And the simple reason why is that because regardless of the high amounts of ad revenue Google's been able to bring in through YouTube, they've supposedly not been able to turn a large profit based on the expense it takes to run the platform. But what does that mean for your individual social media strategy? Well, I don't think YouTube is necessarily doomed, and here's why. When you look at the ad revenue projections, they're always going up. In 2017, I think they're expected to reach somewhere in the realm of 3.5 billion. In 2018, they're expected to reach close to 4 billion in revenue. And even if that doesn't turn a huge profit, remember that Google itself, or Alphabet now, does bring in over $20 billion in revenue per year. Certainly, if there's a small discrepancy between the amount of revenue YouTube is bringing in versus the expenses that they're sending out, they would have the money to cover YouTube. But why would they want to cover YouTube? Well, frankly, because YouTube is first, the second most powerful search engine on the planet. And it's a great way to keep your customers and the people that you want to serve readily engaged for, an entire lifetime if they continue to run the platform. So while they may be losing money, quote unquote, what they're not losing necessarily is attention from viewers. Now, it's been also predicted that the amount of viewers coming onto the platform is starting to stall, and it's going to tap out or max out somewhere around 2018 through 2019. And the other statistics that show that only 9% of the some odd billion people that watch the platform are the ones that make up for 85% of its viewership. The point still remains that it's a platform that people now engage with more than television. So its ability to monetize, I don't think necessarily threatens it. However, when it comes to your social media strategy, and this is something I talk about very heavily in my social media academy. Certainly I talk to my clients about this. A lot of the clients that I work with in the real world, not necessarily the people I coach on the internet, a lot of the clients that I work with in the real world don't necessarily need YouTube because of the type of business that they do. In some cases they do use YouTube, but they use it a little bit more like I do. It's more of a platform to get engagement and to help people out, but also to alert them to the things that I do away from the platform. So for entertainers, that's a different story. But for you business owners, first and foremost, I wouldn't be afraid in your social media strategy of YouTube going away. One specific reason is that if it goes away, it would be because there's other platforms that have figured out how to do what it does better than it does. There's been reports that YouTube has even been looking at trying to take the Netflix route. YouTube Red would seem to be in that vein, not necessarily quite what Netflix is by going out and buying licensed content, but YouTube wanting to compete in that space. So first and foremost, the smart people that have made this company so awesome are still there, so I wouldn't count them out. That's one. Number two, if it does go away, as a business, you are probably on some of the other platforms that could pick up the slack. For my entertainers and my solo entrepreneurs that are using YouTube as their main source to engage an audience and thus drive revenue, my advice to you with your social media strategy is the same thing that I tell the ninjas in my social media ninja academy, which is don't put all of your eggs into one basket. Don't treat YouTube like a job. Don't treat YouTube itself like a business. Treat YouTube like a platform that you're using to bring people into whatever your business is. Even if your business is entertainment, always have a plan B. What if YouTube does go under at some point? What will you do? And that's really my advice. That's the implications for your social media strategy, is just don't expect YouTube to be around forever. Even if it does end up being around forever, if you look through history, television was predicted to be the death of radio. Radio's going stronger than it ever was before. all types of different alternative music were supposed to be the death of hip hop. Hip hop's doing better now than it was many, many years ago. So I wouldn't necessarily count YouTube out, but at the same time, because competition, innovation, and disruption happens so fast in a global economy, definitely don't put all of your eggs in the YouTube basket. Experiment. Experiment with Facebook, experiment with Snapchat and Instagram and shorter forms of video, just to make sure that you are developing an audience in those different places such that if YouTube were to go under, again, I don't think it will, you're prepared for that to happen. And that really goes for any social media platform. Don't get married to any one of them. Sure, there's going to be platforms that you are better suited to be on, platforms that you are better at mastering. But at the same time, don't get married to those platforms as your bread and butter. Be sure to have your own websites set up where you can capture email addresses and stay connected with an audience regardless of whether these platforms exist. That's my advice to all of you today. I hope you found this enjoyable. Be sure to check out the full article over on clientsincoming.com. I'll have a link in the description where you can get access to that. Be sure to check us out. If you're not watching this on Facebook, be sure to check out our Facebook page as well. Link in the description and follow us there. There's a lot of content that I put in emails and on Facebook and other social media platforms that I don't put on YouTube because it's better suited for those other platforms, in line with what we talked about today. As always, subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. I love you guys. We are stronger than I. I'll catch you on the next one.